Mayor of Northville, Brian Turnbull.
Great to be here in the whole bit. It is homecoming. There's 672 kids graduating and all their parents were there. Yeah, so wild and exciting day. Graduation is going to be a week from Sunday, but tonight is homecoming. Yeah, it's prom. You know, homecoming, not prom. So all the ladies, I think they've gone back to the long dresses. It was quite something to see them all down there and all the parents. So there were thousands of people down at the mill race. And in the middle of it, as you may know, I'm the justice of the peace. Somebody wanted to get married, so they rented out the church right in the middle of all these kids running around in their formal wear. So it was kind of neat. So I had a wedding, my 87th wedding down there at the mill race that I officiated. It was kind of neat, but a lot happening in Northville. So every year I do the State of the Community, and we do it out at Schoolcraft College. There's about 400 people, and they pay $60 a plate to hear me say what I'm going to say to you. So you get it for free. So you get a great value today. And you can ask me all the questions you want, but this is what's kind of going on in Northville going forward from today for the next year or so. So take a look at that. I'm going to start kind of what Northville's all about. And I always say, we bolster our strengths. And what are our strengths in Northville? Our downtown businesses. So we're the downtown for about 300,000 people. All of Livonia, all of Novi, Northville and Northville Township, the suburban area. We were number 2 in economics in the state of Michigan until about 1930. We were the place to go. So imagine back in the day, there's 4 stagecoach stops, 2 trolley stops, a train stopped every hour. Northville was kind of a happening place. We had the largest opera house in the state of Michigan with 800 seats, and we had a lot of activity. Charlie Chaplin was even at our theater at one time. So a lot of action in Northville. So we always try to do whatever we can for our downtown businesses. One of my grandfathers was an electrician in Northville. He electrified Northville about 1900, went to a little college called Boston College in 1899. He came out here and he was an electrician. He hooked up Northville to the old Globe Furniture Factory and electrified everything. The other one, he knew all the stories. He was the barber in town. So, he knew really what was going on. So they always told me without a strong downtown, you won't have a strong community. So we've tried to foster that. Number 2, green spaces. We try to bolster our green spaces. We, the city and the township, the community, we have 750 acres of parks and recreation land. Down at the Downs, that will be under the city, parks and recreation. It's not for them, it's for all of us. It'll be parallel parking. You can sit there on benches. You can look at the river. You can go on the bridges. That's ours. Also, we're hooked up to Mayberry State Park on different pathways. We're getting right to it. That's another 1,000 acres. And we have the county park, Hines Drive, that goes 20 miles, a linear park all the way to Dearborn. So a lot of green spaces. From Northville, when we're done, you can go north all the way to Mackinac City or south to Ohio. So from our pathways. So quite something, to tell you the truth. And the third thing that we try to bolster, that's a huge strength, is our school district. Our school district is ranked number 1 out of 618 schools in the state of Michigan. The top scores, ACT and SAT scores in the state. So they do okay in Northville. That's why families come to Northville to come to the school. So that's kind of why people come to Northville. In general, this is your council members. And that guy that I just made Mayor Pro Tem, John Carter, he's doing a great job out here, isn't he? Oh, absolutely. So John has my confidence in everything he does. Because of that, I made him the Mayor Pro Tem. That's when I'm not around or something happens to me, he will take over the city. So he's done a great job up here and in other activities. Also, these are just people you see around, You have Jolyn Gizmonde, she's done a great job up here, and we will continue to do even greater things, and support staff. So you see some of these faces in and out. A lot going on in Northville, and we have in the upper left, you see that's Memorial Day. We have a lot of activity. 300-400 people will be up at Rural Hill listening to different speeches. It's a one-way parade, and we honor our vets. We're on the shoulders of those that came before us, and it's quite a solemn time for us. We'll go to one of the oldest cemeteries in the state, That's at Oakwood on Katy Street. We have Revolutionary War veterans there and Civil War veterans. They fought in 1776. I mean, do the math. Yeah, they're pretty old. But they came to Northville after the Revolutionary War. And just a lot going on. The girls hockey team just won the state championship, so we celebrated with them. We got a proclamation for the governor. I gave him a day in the city, so it's kind of fun. In Northville, we're very fortunate. We've had a few awards lately. The Thoughtful Development Awards, things that are going on, daylighting the river, all the parks, at the Downs Ford Field, what we're doing there. We're spending about $5.4 million with an ADA entryway too, so anybody can have access to the new Ford Field. And that is the original Ford Field from Henry Ford and Clara Ford. They came here and had their wedding and their honeymoon in the 1880s. So it's quite something that we're getting it ready for the next generation like they got it ready for us. And a lot of other things. In general, I'm pretty proud. It's no big deal. The only numbers you're going to see. We're a AAA bond rated organization, the City of Northville. One of 16 in the state. Only one of 16. So that just means we can spend money on initiatives than on interest rate. We can redo some of the facilities out here instead of spending money on interest. We'll do different things. Where's that hair salon? I want that baby coming. I want to come up here and get my hair done once in a while. A busy time for Northville. We're going to talk about all these things from the Downs to the Riverwalk to Ford Field. Let's go to the next one, Dave. So Northville's kind of special because we have 4 rivers coming through Northville. That's why we're here. And Northville is combined with other municipalities. Usually a municipality is like 6 by 6 square miles. That's 36 square miles. That's Livonia, Novi, and Canton. Our 6 by 6 square miles is Northville, Northville Township, Plymouth, and Plymouth Township. We were the North Village in that big square in the 1820s. We split off. We're the North Village, thus Northville in that. In Northville, the city is only a couple square miles. We have 34 miles of roads that we're responsible for, but we have a 2 square mile, square in that versus 36 square miles. And the rivers, that is why Northville's here. The river, the water was the power. Before electricity, you all plug in your phones and different appliances. Before that, the water was the power. And the Millrace Village, which I just came from, with the kids graduating, going to their prom tonight, the power came from the river. They dammed up the Rouge River, had a big pond, and then you have the race of the water, or the mill race, goes into a big pipe, down to a smaller pipe. It's like a jet engine moving a big water wheel around. And that water wheel was the engine that did the original sawmills here, and then the grist mills, and then the Industrial Revolution came. So we made a bunch of stuff here. We made more things in Northville than anybody but the city of Detroit in the state of Michigan. Back in the days, I think you can remember this, I say this to younger folks that have no idea what I'm talking about. Sears and Roebuck, Montgomery Ward catalogs, all the old, like the bells in there and the scales and metalworks came from Northville, Michigan. And they shipped it out of here and made it in our foundry, where Foundry Flask is today. Those original school desks, you might not have had one of those, but the top goes up, the seat comes down. The Globe Furniture Factory, it was the largest school and church furniture factory in the world, with 200 people a shift in the 1800s. So that kind of put us on the map. That's Bealtown. Mr. Beal owned that. That's over by the racetrack. That's why that's called Bealtown. Okay, let's go to the next one, Dave. So at Ford Field will be quite special. It's getting there right now. If you go down there by the bank or CVS, we are building this vista so you can see the sunrise every day. Park right there, go across the street. There'll be a light, a hawk light, so you press it and the lights go on so you can safely go across the street. Sit there and watch the sun come up. There's a new ADA entryway. The governor gave us $910,000. It goes down Hutton and then goes into Ford Field. Whether you're with your little amigo or your walker, or you're like me, just walking slow because I'm getting older, you can go right down there. A slope drops 1 foot for every 10 feet. So from that, we're making it accessible for everybody in the community. That's just one piece. That whole vista and ADA entryway will be the biggest thing we've ever done. But inside of Ford Field, we're doing a new playscape, and John has been involved, and he's been my touch point on that. $1.2 million is being spent on a new playscape. It's basically done, and it's all soft surfaces. It's just about finished. It's all ADA compliant, and people can come in there with wheelchairs, or us oldies in the whole bit can go in there and not get hurt, but with our grandkids. But that is basically done. That will open by June 1st, and there we're also putting bathrooms right in the corner. $1.1 million worth of bathrooms. So with adult changing stations, I say, so our kids can change us. Our kids want to change us, don't they, for God's sakes. So that's in there. And on the northern section, we have a waterfall system.
Oh, so you kind of...
Oh yeah, I know, I went around, sorry about that, Dave.
Jumped ahead of me on that.
So, yeah, Dave usually stays up with me, because I messed it up a little bit on the order. So on the northern part, there's where the Randolph Drain comes. That's water from Livingston County and Oakland County on the northern side. That was a big old ditch in the ground that trees were collapsing. That's a Wayne County, Oakland County Drain Authority. Now we have a beautiful waterfall system. So when it rains, you can't even see one of these rocks. That's one of the 4 river systems or waterways that come in. That's Livingston and Oakland County water. Going up the Rouge River, the upper and middle Rouge, that is also coming from Oakland County and some Wayne County, coming from the Johnson Creek from Ann Arbor, that comes down 7 Mile, that's from Washtenaw County. So that gives you an idea, and that's the playscape, just about done. That's the bathrooms to the bottom right, and we'll see a little movie on that. So this is the view from the northern part of Ford Field looking south right now, and it's going to be just like that. Go right ahead. Also, this is actually where I parked. There were so many cars at the mill race today. We, the city, own Ford Field East, which is all that land behind the old Northville Valve plant, the Planet Fitness area behind there. That will be the first major section on our walkway system that will go south all the way to Ohio, all the way to the Downs first, and then on to pathways that go to 275 and to M14. But that will have 2 bridges back there, a beautiful area for walking, about a 10-foot pathway system for walking and biking that you'll be able to access down to the pond and the activities. We're actually, for our bicentennial, which is next year, going to have a lumberjack show down there. So they'll be rolling on the pond, you know, the logs, and going up, throwing axes and doing different, kind of neat, because we're the original milling area, you know, lumber mill early on in the sawmills here in Northville. So the next one. So a lot going on, and people have talked about the Downs for generations. My grandparents talked about the Downs. My parents talked about the Downs. I believe it's turning out better than anybody thought. It went from 0% green space to 33% green space. We daylighted a river. We have a 10.3 acre bioswale park. That means we absorb the water instead of speeding up and flooding everything. We brought in 1,400 hardwood trees around the river. There wasn't a tree on that 49 acre. It's quite something. And we have a 2 acre park behind the Presbyterian Church. Those are all ours, all of us in the room. Those are a public benefit. You can go down there and sit all day. You can listen to a concert. We're even looking to have a little ice area for kids to ice skate in the winter behind the Presbyterian Church. So 3 different tiers on that, we'll see. I know we have some slides to talk about it, but I was getting excited. A lot going on at the Downs. We'll talk about that. This is what it was just about a year ago. A year ago, February, they were still running races. A year ago, February. Unbelievable. This is what it's going to look like by the end of next year. In the upper left, that's 10.3 acres with the river opened up. That's a 3 acre or a 2 acre park with 3 tiers in the middle of town. And the last tier could be an ice arena at some time, but it's kind of exciting. A lot of action going on down there. So right now, as of today, I believe there's 42 townhomes sold. There's 10 houses sold. All those are underway. There's 28 different families that are living in there already. Today I went by and I saw them moving in a mattress and a bed, you know, on the inside. So a lot of action is going on. The apartment buildings will be done by next summer, and there'll be apartments from $1,500 for our kids and studios, all the way to $5,200. You know, there'll be 3 bedrooms and large spaces. They all have the amenities of a pool outdoors and indoor, you know, activities that are available for everybody in the apartment complex. They've already, the pool is already there. It's on the top of the 3-tier parking structure. It's quite something, to tell you the truth.
Old Farmers Market. Okay.
And this is the old Farmers Market. Just about all those are sold. Maybe 1 or 2 of those are left at this point in time, but a lot of those are already moved in at the old Farmers Market. Now I'm talking they're moving in on the main area of Northville. It is unbelievable. They were racing races a year ago, February, there right now. It's integrating into the city. We're going to have an integration between that's Katy Street into town to have people have easy walkability going from town to down there to the parks and back. We got a grant from SEMCOG to help us. All the things we're talking about, we didn't ask any more for taxes. We got it on grants to help everybody in the city and all of you. $17.5 million worth of grants in the last couple of years, because it's not because our social index score, because that's too high, but it's because we're in the middle of an area that brings an awful lot of people to Northville. At Ford Field and the Millrace Village, over 30 different communities use that every day. At the Farmers Market that we'll see in a second, over 3,000 people from all over suburban Detroit come there. Over 90 communities every Thursday. It's the largest Thursday market, sometimes the second largest market in the state. So that brings a lot of people there, and our parks will butt right up to that. This is the 3-tier park right behind the Presbyterian Church. Kind of think Kellogg Park in downtown Plymouth. This is our Kellogg type park right there, but with 3 tiers and a lot going on in each tier. This is looking from the bottom below the Presbyterian Church. You can see the Presbyterian Church on the top of the picture. They tell me it's going to be better looking than this. You know, pictures always look better than the real thing, don't they, when they touch us all up in those pictures. But this, they tell me, is going to be even better than the pictures. I believe it. And they're trying to move a lot of dirt because we're going to have the grand opening, the ribbon cutting for the park below that, right in this location. So this is going to look like something, not this, in weeks to come, to tell you the truth. Let's go. Again, the river was just daylighted about 9 or 10 months ago. It was underground for most of last century. People go, why was it underground? Why? It was underground because it was the largest area for a fairground in the state of Michigan at one time. The Northville Fair, which was the Wayne County Fair, was bigger than the state fair, and there was a act in Congress in 1908, a Swamp Act, that said you could bury rivers to get more space. That's what they did. You know, they put a road on it and barns all around it, what have you, back in the day. Yeah, there's 12 different structures down there. But again, a year ago, that river was underground. Now it's above ground with 1,400 trees, 700 on either side of it. It's quite something. I want you to go down River Street, park your car sometime this summer, and just go up on a bench and watch the river, look at the bridges. We're going to make it as easy as possible. From parking your car to the path will be about 4 or 5 feet, to tell you the truth. So it'll be pretty nice. This is what it'll look like when it's done. There's 2.5 miles of trails already paved down there, ready for you to go north-south on the Rouge River, up and down by that river, and then east-west on the Johnson Creek. It's a very unique piece of land. It's got 2 rivers on it, going north-south and east-west. So again, 2.5 miles of pathways. You could do a walk and do it differently every day until you go around all the different paths. Farmers Market is just kitty corner from that. That's the old McDonald Ford, John Mack Ford for some of us that are kind of old. I feel like a little bit younger in here than I'm usually the oldest one in the room, but I appreciate being up here. Farmers Market, it's pretty special. Like I said, about 90 different communities come to this location. We're looking to do a building in the front. We have the first right to buy inch monuments too, so that will be easy in, easy out, both on Northville Road and 7 Mile. We're trying to make it as easy as possible and have as much parking as we possibly can, and have a full-time building for maybe a year-round farmer market in there. And we're utilizing it. It's almost unbelievable again. What's unbelievable, Brian? We bought it 1 year ago, last April. We bought it the 3rd week of April, And by May 1st, we had a farmer's market there. We paved it, we lit it, we had 2 tree companies cut all the trees back. We had 100 people volunteer. We picked up 2 huge dumpsters of garbage and 34 tires down there, all within a couple days. So did a lot of work a year ago. If you've been down there this year, you can see it's progressing and getting even better. We have things lined up. We did some more pavement. I was down there, today is Thursday. I was down there earlier today. It was great. It was outstanding. You know, there's a lot of people. We've been very fortunate. The weather's been good on Thursdays this year. Last year, not so much. This year, Thursdays have been outstanding for the farmers. We also have our first roundabout. I know you're a little scared once in a while, bumping and grinding around there. It is open now. The roundabout is open on Sheldon and 7 Mile. It is about 9 to 10% better in the progression of traffic that we can get through there. It will be about 10% better when the Downs is fully built out than it was before the Downs. I always say the traffic wasn't great before. It's not going to get worse. It's going to get a little bit better. So that opened today. You know, so the final deal, you can cross it. It's one of the safest, largest roundabouts in the state. So it's okay. Just go slower. Once you're on the roundabout, you have the right to stay on the roundabout. So just know that. We have the roundabout wizard, and we did advertisements so people would know. And we actually set it up, I think, at the senior center so everybody could do their walker and go around the roundabout and know. So that's the first one, and Dave put the second one on.
That's it.
Oh, we don't have the second roundabout. Okay. We don't have the one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, come on.
Yeah, so the second roundabout, there's one roads that come together just east of there where Hines Drive and 7 Mile is. That is a goofy intersection because it wasn't supposed to be an intersection. Back a long time ago, before any of you in here, 1929, that was the ski jump capital for the state of Michigan. The Hall brothers used to be there. World record holders came. That was a ski jump hill. You go back into the Detroit Newses and what have you. People would come from all over the street and the world to ski jump in Northville, Michigan. And you go, where was the hill? If you come up to that intersection on 7 Mile and Hines Drive, look way up a hill. There's a big hill on one side, and then there's another 80-foot platform that they built on top of that hill. So they had quite the speed, and they went up, and they landed going towards Custard Town. So that wasn't a street, that was a landing strip. And then Hines Drive came in the late 1930s and kind of came down that way. And 7 Mile didn't come in that area until the late 1950s. So that's an intersection that we're trying to straighten out because it wasn't supposed to be an intersection. So we'll have a roundabout, and we're looking to have a road go directly into the Downs development. So it keeps the traffic off of the main street. So it'll go right in there. So that to me is as important as the first one. So in general, that's what Northville's all about. Music and concerts. We'll have 60 concerts in downtown Northville starting June 5th. That from Tuesdays to Saturday nights. Every week between now and October on the weekends. It's quite something. We will get all that work done where all the brick is and the clock by June 5th. They will. They have no choice because we have a concert that night ready to go. So that will be done and going. Just a lot of things. You've been down there for the Skeletons Come Alive. I call us, we're like the Norman Rockwell. I say this to kids, they don't know what that means. We're like the Norman Rockwell for Halloween. I mean, kids come from all over the state. We have over 10,000 trick-or-treaters on Dunlap Street. We shut down the streets. On my house, I live over by OLV in Orchard Heights. We have about 400 trick-or-treaters. Every street is about another 1,000 or so that gets to Dunlap. It's quite something. I know I get full-size candy bars, and I know how many I buy every year, so I know how many I give away. They're lined up because they know the mayor gives really good candy bars away. Also in downtown where the clock is, you can see that action going on right now. We're spending about $1 million a year. The clock and the street on Main Street will be done this year, and then the waterfall system, that water treatment and the stage, and then where Katy Street is to make it easy for access coming from the Downs and some more retail down there, making an open environment. So you almost have 2 streets on that downtown. So that is happening. So in general too, we're trying to get everything ready for our bicentennial. Our bicentennial is in 2027. People are saying, oh, why are you thinking about this early on? I started thinking about this in 2019 because, you run out of time, don't you, to do things in life. They go, oh, why are you even talking about it so early? We are running out of time right now to get everything done by next year, but it'll be pretty exciting. We'll have events, parades, major events, so it's not a one and done situation. It'll go from Memorial Day all the way through September. We'll have a big gathering, every month at Ford Field. We'll have all the governors will be in town for the grand opening of the festival. We will have Bob Seger maybe play or introduce, the band, because Bob Seger played here in 1967, 68. Some of his first hits came from Northville. They went to Europe and got famous. Then he came back and recorded those hits. So he's a local boy from Ann Arbor. And back in the day, the Mothers Club wanted their kids to stay around. So they had these rock and roll bands come here at the community center. The senior center where you go, where you guys all party. Bob Seger used to party in the same room on that stage that you saw those dancers that we were there, not too long for May Day and the whole bit. Bob Seger used to play on that stage. You probably remember when he was a little younger. We were all a little bit younger. So that is some of the things going on. We have a cemetery restoration group. We have, like I said, some of the oldest cemeteries in the state. With Oakwood, we have oak trees, 250, almost 300 years old in there. That's why it's called Oakwood, because of the trees. We have Revolutionary War veterans in that. We are bringing it back, no pun intended, to life in the sense. All the stones were pretty much broken down and dirty and underground. We have spent the last year and a half restoring them. We brought professionals in to stand them up. We have about 60 people on that committee. They, by hand, clean each and every stone in there. Now you can read them, you can see them. We have to respect those that came before us, and that's part of the heritage. All the streets in Northville, if you walk around there, you can see the names. Katie and Dunlap and Rogers. Of course, Rogers had the patent on condensed milk. They built a big house called Shiro's. Anybody ever eat at Shiro's? So Shiro's is the Rogers families. That's where they spent their money. That was built from condensed milk money at one time. They had the patent for condensed milk on 7 Mile and Rogers Street. That's why it's called Rogers Street. That's where the Rogers house used to be. That's where their farm used to be. That's where the condensed area was.
Well, he's been doing some work in here.
And this is somebody from the media.
Looks really nice.
What about those stones?
Look at all these white marbles.
White marbles, baby, yes. So each stone is looked at individually. There's sandstone, there's fieldstone, there's granite, there's any kind of stone in there. Each one is cleaned differently. These aren't sprayed, and sandblasted. These are hand by hand, each and every stone. A person is assigned and they clean that stone. So it's quite something, a lot of time and energy. So I just wanted to show you kind of a film that shows you where we've been and where we're gonna go. Let's take a look at this, Dave. Downtown Northville, 100 years ago. The water wheel, the trains coming into Northville. Kind of like the Wizard of Oz, black and white. Let's go to color. The 12 buildings down there that we use brownfield money to take down, they sold it. We're just trying to make it as good as possible. Let's go inside here. Let's look at a condo. Let's go out the back. Let's fly around a little bit. This is some weeks ago. There's more things going on now today. The drainage ponds were, before there's 12 million gallons that went in there. Now we look at 3 stories of parking underneath, the homes that are going up there. Let's look at the entryway that comes in on 7 Mile, right there at Norfolk Road. The clock downtown, that's happening right now, all the brickwork. That's the park behind the Presbyterian Church. The bottom areas might be where we're going to do a little ice arena. A lot of pocket parks, a lot of green space for all of us. The roundabout, Ford Field, the vista that you're going to sit there and see what's going on. The playscape, the bathrooms, the walk bridges down there at the Downs. This is Ford Field. We're pretty excited about all the green spaces for each and every one of you in the future. So that kind of gives you an idea where we've been, where we're going. I always say, and I was told when I was young, know your past, see where you're at, embrace the present to envision the future. We're all trying to envision the future. And even here, we're envisioning the future. I'm pushing to get all the facility here up to speed. We've got new workout equipment. It was back from the dark ages. It was in here. We have, a new area for the hair salon. I'm pushing that. I got to get that done. The library. This room under COVID, we redid this. I would like this area to be, a pinnacle of what we're trying to do in Northville. So a lot of things you see have full access for all the seniors and ADA entryways. So hopefully now you probably know more about anybody else what's going on in Northville. So I thank you very much for having me here tonight.